Today on Kicks Chronicles, part 2 of our chat with Scott from the Doubled Up podcast. He gives us his top 3 of 2023 so far. Team Crocs or Team Foam Runners? Scott tells us what side he falls on today on the podcast. His thoughts on the sneaker culture. And lastly, the origin story of how the Doubled Up podcast started from his perspective. This is Kicks Chronicle. Yes, my people. Big PROZECH back again, and you already know what it is. Kicks Chronicles, another episode of your sneaker and lifestyle podcast. Episode 43. Your boy's cooking. Yeah, let me bring the mic up a little bit. Your boy's cooking. We're putting in that work. And yeah, we've got another amazing interview for you today. So please make sure to stick around. I'm going to break it all the way down. But before I get into that, I want to say some thank yous. I want to thank you, first and foremost, for being here. And secondly, I want to thank all of those that managed to catch our most recent episodes. Obviously, part 1 of the interview with Scott from the Doubled Up podcast, but also our midweek episode where I dropped my top 10. You get me? My top 10. People, it's my list. Yeah, it's my top 10, right? Of sneakers from 2023 so far, yeah? If you managed to catch that, thank you. If you interacted, left a comment, shared your top 10, top 5, top 3. Love that. Thank you very much for doing that. If you haven't managed to catch any of those episodes, make sure to go back in the archives and tap in, bro. Tap in. Get involved. Actually, get involved. I want to say a massive extra thank you, right? Because as customary for every episode, I will drop a little snippet, a little short video, put it on Instagram, put it on TikTok, put it on YouTube as well, obviously. And the video that I dropped for Scott's part 1 actually managed to do over 20,000 views cross-platform, which is amazing. We're a little podcast, but we've got big dreams and big ideas. And when we get 20,000 views cross-platforms, it's a big deal, man. I can't lie. I really, really respect it and I really appreciate it. So yeah, everyone that's watched, shared, interacted, engaged, big up yourself. Thank you so much for the love. And let's keep that ball rolling. Let's keep that same energy, people. Yeah, we need to keep that same energy. This week is the final part of our interview with Scott from the Doubled Up podcast. The sneaker teacher himself is in the building one more time for the final frontier, the final part. And yeah, man, he drops us his top 3. Interestingly enough, in his top 3, spoiler alert, there are 2 Adidas silhouettes, right? I gotta say, in my whole top 10, there weren't 2 Adidas. Man had 2 Adidas in his top 3, right? So it lets you know where his mind's at. You get me? But he has said on record, and he says during the podcast, that he thinks Adidas have been the top brand this year. So let me know what you think about that in the comments below. I don't know if I fully agree. I'm happy that they brought back their Yeezys and that managed to mend that. And they've been cooking. I can't lie. The Sambas Gazelles, they've been doing their thing. And there's been some really, they just dropped the Wells Bonner collab, which was fantastic by all accounts as well. So yeah, they've been cooking. I can't lie. Adidas have been doing their thing, right? But best brand of 2023 so far? I don't know. Let me know what you think if you agree with Scott in the comments below. He also tells us how the Doubled Up podcast started with his partner, obviously his co-D, his right-hand man, Matt Sibley, how that podcast started from his perspective. Because we know what Matt's saying. We know his perspective. And if you don't know Matt's perspective, go back and watch that episode. But we hear it from Scott's mouth. We hear it from the horse's mouth himself, right? From the Paisley Prince. We hear how it came together and obviously what's happened. We also talk about the banter and the fights that those guys have had, because ultimately they started a podcast sight unseen. You get me? So there was going to be a bit of a feeling out process. And although the product, the podcast was fire from day one, there's got to have been some times where there's a little bit of friction. Apparently, one of those little bits of friction was Team Croc or Team Foam Runner. I ain't gonna tell you who was on whose side, but let's just say, yeah, they ended up squashing that beef and taking them completely in another direction, right? So yeah, very, very cool story to hear, obviously from Scott's perspective. And lastly, Scott gives us his perspective on the sneaker culture, the sneaker community as he sees it. And also he speaks to us about the term sneakerhead as we normally and typically and customarily do. We need to understand from our guest perspective what the word sneakerhead means to them, whether they feel they are part of that community, whether they feel that they are themselves a sneakerhead or not, which is completely fair. An awesome guest, an amazing guy, and you will hear on the podcast, right? It's confirmed now. I've completed the Doubled Up podcast. I doubled up. You get me? I got Matt and then I got Scott, right? So nobody can say, man, I don't get busy. We know what Big Z gets busy. So talk nicely to me because I get busy, right? Scott says it himself. Matt, pull your finger out. Get me on the pod. You need me on the pod. You get me? You've been sunning and playing around in fields and dancing around like at Glasgow and that. Get me on the pod. You get me? Get me on the pod and let's chop it up one more time because it's magic, bro. It's magic. All right, man. But yeah, watch this space. You never know, I might pop up on the Doubled Up podcast. So guys, stay connected, stay involved, and make sure to follow on social media, PROZECH on all social media. Obviously, in terms of this episode and all of our episodes, comments are great on whatever platform you're watching this. Send forth your comments. We appreciate it. Your ratings and reviews, if you're on a podcast platform, absolutely appreciate all of that love as well. And also, if you want to send us an email, it's kicks.chronicles@gmail.com. Now, with all of that being said, I'm your boy PROZECH. This is Kicks Chronicles. And today, in the final part of our interview, our guest is the amazing Scott from the Doubled Up podcast. Enjoy. I'm assuming, obviously, you dip into used pairs and stuff. Mm-hmm. When you are buying pairs, sort of, where are the places you tend to get your shoes from?
I mean, we do a segment on the podcast called Steal of the Week, so we're always going through the sales every week to pick out pairs that we think are a bargain for people, because we noticed, especially last year, cost of living, prices were going up. People were getting fed up of spending money on stuff, and we thought, you know what, let's help people. And we've had a lot of good feedback and people actually buying a lot of pairs that we've singled out. That's amazing. So certainly that's one place. Scanning the sales. I mean, End have got a big sale on at the moment.
Yeah, 50%.
Offspring always have a good sale. Hannon always good for a sale. Size, when they have their access sales, really good. But places like Vinted, Depop, eBay, if there's a pair you're looking for, get a saved search going. And, get them notifications, because you never know what will pop up. There's a few pairs that I'm looking at that I've been looking at for ages. And then all of a sudden, normally they pop up at a time when I can't afford them, which is, even though it's a good price, I can't be doing this. But there's always something that pops up. I mean, like I said, I'm kind of into my Saucony at the moment and looking at that. And some of the pairs that I've had come up that are very rare, and I'm there like, ooh. But it's hit and miss. But certainly, yeah. I mean, used pairs, what people are deeming as used for some of them. I mean, the Amsterdams I got, he was like 8 out of 10. They were 10 out of 10. There was not a single fault with them. People have been really harsh. So, yeah, I think you can do your digging. And, I mean, at the moment, realistically, unless it's like a high heat collab, if you're looking like your Travis Scott's, Patterns, stuff like that, a lot of things are hitting the sales. Jordans are hitting the sales. Air Max 1s are hitting the sales.
Yeah, they're going to hit the sales.
If you're a bigger size, I wouldn't recommend waiting around, because if you're like me in 11, like, they sell out immediately. But if you're in that middle of the road, I mean, you've got a good chance of waiting until like a sale or a discount code comes up for most of this stuff these days.
No, I agree, man. I agree. I'm in a similar boat to you. I'm 12, so a lot of times, if I can't get it retail, I'm gonna have to sort of dip into your goats and your eBays and other things. And I think obviously I think the fact that eBay brought in the authenticity thing really
it's
sort
massive
of was a
thing.
master stroke. Yeah, it was a
Yeah,
fantastic
massive.
move because it was really helpful because I was selling on eBay and then it just opened it up because I can now start buying bits on eBay and I know that it's going to be sort of checked over and made good. I think my friend recently bought a pair of Air Max 1 Magmas from eBay and they caught him and it wasn't right. It was a
Yeah.
little snidey or whatever, and he caught him and they send them a little message just saying, you know what, these have come through to us, it's not right. And yeah, don't worry,
Yeah.
everything's fine.
It's annoying. I mean, Yeezys in particular, like my mate used to buy a lot of Yeezys when they were coming out with, colorway every week. He loved them, but he got pinged for kind of stuff all the time. The fake Yeezys. And I think a lot of pairs you can,
So hard to tell
there's
now.
certain brands and stuff and certain pairs that are more faked than others. So it's difficult. I mean, one of my, like, if I was ever going to use the word grail to describe something that I need, it's the Sean Wotherspoon 97 one, right?
Ooh, that's definitely on my list.
I like colour. I like corduroy. I like
Obviously.
it. I like it. I
like a material.
I like an Air Max one. Yeah, it's down my street, and that was the shoe that made me really think.
Shoe.
That was the shoe that I remember seeing the hysteria around it and just going, this shoe thing's big. Like this isn't just like people like their shoes. This is people are doing mad things for these shoes, right? So that was kind of, there's a lot there, but that shoe is faked so much that I refuse to buy a pair on the market because the amount of people I know that have been stung by fakes, I can't do it. I've got the Trav OG 1 highs. I love them. Don't get me wrong. But if I could swap them for a pair of Sean Wotherspoons, I'd be really tempted.
That's a solid trade, bro.
However, one, price of the Sean's has come down a bit, but two, I don't know if they're real or not. And I'm not good enough to be able to authenticate them myself. Even then, I can't. With StockX and eBay, like there are still some fakes that are getting through because again, they're only human. Yeah. Like they're going to make mistakes. I can't risk it. I know those Travs are legit, and I don't want to risk potentially landing with a fake there. It's difficult.
Nice, fair enough. Let me ask you, man, if you're just running out the house, like bopping to the shops, like what you grabbing? Like this don't have to be heat. This could just be whatever's around. But like, quickly.
If I'm dashing out the house, there's I've got 3 pairs that are like just on the floor that like I'll slip on. One, Benbury Croc. Like
we love a Croc.
I mean, I'll get bollocked for that one if I wear it out of the house with my wife because she hates them and very mixed reception. The other one is
it looks like a fingerprint. It's fine.
Yeah, I've had what? Why have you got a wrinkly toe on your foot? I've had
a brain.
A brain. Yeah, I've had a brain. Yeah. But then some people like absolutely love them. Really weird.
It's a cool shoe. It's a very cool shoe.
It's a decent shoe. And then Paisley Dunk.
Really? Oh, that's a very fire shoe.
I doubled up on that. That's the one and only shoe I've ever doubled up on. I mean, I say I doubled up on it because of listeners of the podcast. I ended up with 5 pairs of that shoe. I ended up with a lot of pairs. And I had to say,
he's botting.
No, honestly, I was like, I need this shoe. Like, I need it. Anybody who listens to the podcast, if it's Paisley, I've got it. Like, I have it in my collection. The nickname in a lot of my chats is the Paisley Prince for good reason, because it's just
we like that.
Paisley. I mean, I've literally like Paisley tattoo on me. Like, it's the lot. But yeah, I got a pair myself. But before I got the email notification come through, somebody messaged me and be like, I've got you a pair. I didn't even know who the guy was. I don't even think I've spoken to him since. Like, I genuinely don't know who he was, and he just messaged me like, I got you a pair of Paisley Dunks. Don't worry, I got you. Sweet. Good friend of the podcast, Damo, messaged me. I got you a pair of Dunks. What? I had 2 other people message me and be like, yeah, I entered the raffles for you. Got you a pair of Dunks. I'm there like, oh, Jesus Christ. I have not been able to.
Of the pod.
I have not been able to win. I know, it really was pulling through. And I was like, I haven't been able to get a pair of Dunks in so long. Like, I used to do pretty well with Dunks, and then the hype came, and I went for about 2 years of getting like 1 pair, I think, in like 2 years. And yeah, I ended up getting those, but I kept 2. I gave 1 to a kid that I used to work with who was big into skating, loved his Dunks, but like he didn't know much about shoes, so he was like, he always saw these pairs but never knew how to get them. So I was like, mate, here you go, they're your size, sorted. So yeah, I kind of used one of the extra pairs to kind of make his day, and then I've got two myself. So I've got one pair that's dead stuck in the box, and then I've got another pair that's bad. So yeah, that's the trainer to go out, and then I've got a pair of Reebok Beatniks. When it gets a bit colder,
Oh yeah.
slip them on.
Yeah,
sorted.
the beatnik is solid, man. The beatnik is solid, man.
It's a good shoe.
Yeah, it's a decent shoe. It's a decent shoe. Yeah, you don't hear nobody talk about the beatnik, bro.
There was a period where people were really digging them and people were going mad for them. And me and Matt were very much opposing sides of an argument. He was very much team foam runner, and I was very much team Croc. He hated Crocs. I hated foam runners. And then we kind of met in the middle where, like, my wife lost my left Croc. Don't know how that happened. She just managed to lose one of them. So I was there like, well, what do I do now? So I ended up getting a pair of Beatniks in the Reebok sale for like 20 quid. I was like, that'll do. That's a decent middle ground. And Matt ended up weirdly getting the same pair at the same time without us knowing. And we both are just there. We both went, right, we'll meet in the middle. We're both team Beatnik now.
Nah, the Beatniks are solid. The Beatniks are solid. Interesting that you said team Croc and team foam runner, because I'm both, man. I rock both of mine.
Oh, I hate the foam runner.
And the funny thing is, I actually literally got them in the same colour. They're both in the sand colour.
How does the foam runner look on your size 12 feet, right? Because I'm size 11 and they look like boats.
Yeah. But the
you'd be like Jesus walking on water in them things. You'd be floating away.
I'm an angel flying in the. But the issue, like for me, apart from just being shameless in that regard, right, is I'm the comfort king.
Yeah.
And it's comfort above all else. So when I put that shoe on my foot and it takes me to that place, that very special place, bro, I don't care what I look like at that moment, bro. I'm just doing my thing.
I can do that.
Yeah, but I mean, the thing is, if I'm being brutally honest, of the foam runner and the Croc, if you're talking comfort level, if the foam runner is a 9, the Croc is a 9.25, slightly more comfortable. Because it's got the 2 modes, right? It gives you a little bit more flexibility as well. So it just edges it a little bit. But I was very happy with the foam runner and what it represents and what he's done with it, like, and the idea behind it. Like, I was good with it. Like, it was it's a Marmite shoe.
I can't get over the road hump at the front. That's the problem.
Yeah,
if that was a bit more streamlined, it'd be all right.
The speed bump is a lot. But the thing is, the problem that I had was I couldn't wear the slides because of the design of the slides. Because the inside of the slide, even though it's wide, the width is narrow. If that makes sense. So it's wide inside, but it's not like that. Which a lot of, like, so if you're talking like a Benassi slide from Nike or whatever, you've got basically that much space for you to get your foot in a Yeezy slide. It's about that much space. So I recently with the unofficial, I recently, like, because I basically, my size is size 12. I usually would go up 2 sizes on a slide. So I went up 2 sizes on the slide. I got a 14. That didn't work. I couldn't get my foot in there. So I ended up getting a 15. That didn't work. I couldn't get my foot in there. So on the most recent drop, I got a 16. And guess what? I could get my foot in, but it didn't go all the way to the end.
Dear me. Wow.
So it's like all of a sudden my foot fits, but I've looked like an idiot because I've got, like, basically this big space at the back of my foot because I'm not a size 16.
See, I'm in general, I'm a cheapskate. Like, that's always the way I've been. Like, and I will spend money on some shoes if I think they're worth it. And, you know, there's a lot of factors that I kind of take into account when purchasing. Like, I'm a very indecisive person in general. Like, my wife will say, like, we've got an Adidas voucher, so Samsung were being very kind and we're giving out £300 Adidas vouchers when you got a new phone recently. So we both got new phones because we needed an upgrade. And so we got £600 vouchers. and I'm sat there and I still can't spend mine because I'm too indecisive about what shoes I want to buy, what clothes I want to buy, the lot, because I just can't do it.
That's a big voucher,
I know,
bro.
I know. But it doesn't get you much, though. I'm not going to lie. Like, the price of some of the clothes is,
it's pretty high. Yeah, no, you're right.
So the thing is, I look at Yeezy slides and I love the look of them. Don't get me wrong. But I look at the price and they're like, it's a slide. Like, I can't bring myself to. And there's a limit. Like, I will never spend more than £300 on a pair of shoes. Never. Couldn't do it. Couldn't bring myself to do it. Like, unless I won the lottery. Like, not happening. Just can't. Yeah, I'm
I don't
tight.
think I don't think I've reached that level yet.
I'm cheap.
I don't think I've reached that level yet. Yeah, I wouldn't even call you cheap. I'd say probably frugal. You watch your money. You make sure it's doing the right things. You don't wanna just spend frivolously.
The thing is, it depends though, because it's like if say I saw the Sean Wotherspoon 97 one, and it was completely legit, and it was dead stock at $350. I'm probably going to drop the $350, but
it's a no-brainer.
I know that, like from a value point of view, I could get my money back if I needed to. Like,
yes. I'm there with you.
There's that level in there of like, okay, there's different things to this, but in general, yeah, I'm not breaking the bank for a pair of shoes. Like, that's probably the only pair of shoes that I'd break the bank for, to be honest.
I think in general, like my whole collection is built on kicks where the value of the shoe is outweighed sort of by the amount that I paid. Whether it be I got whether I got a deal, whether through a friend or whatever, whether I got it retail, or whether the money I'm using in terms of like content, blah, 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 all of this sort of stuff, whether that pays for it, like either way, I'm making sure that the amount that I'm putting in, the value is higher in almost every single pair. And I mean, ultimately, there are going to be some GRs where it's just going to be really cheap pairs, so it's fine or whatever.
Yeah,
but the ones that are really expensive, you're like, okay, I need to make sure that there's value.
If you're dropping serious dough on a pair, then yeah, like I know people that will spend mad money on pairs of shoes. Like, we're talking thousands of pounds on pairs of shoes, and fair play to them. Like, they're in a position that they can, and they're happy with that. But I couldn't bring myself to do it, just mainly because it's like, it's a pair of shoes. Like, as much as I love them and as much as I buy them, it is just a pair of shoes. But I'm a sucker because it'll be like, all right, I'm not going to spend £400 on one pair of shoes, but if I buy 4 pairs for £100, that's all right. Makes no sense, does it? Like, but in my head, I'm like, it's.
But the thing is, now you've got 4 pairs. It's the same amount of money, but it's actually 4 times the value.
Yeah, I got 4 pairs.
It's 4 times the value, right?
So it's
this is it.
It's different.
No, I'm actually with you on that. Random quick question: your house is on fire. You can only grab one. What are you taking?
That's a good question. Now, damn. You know, I'm taking my Bad Bunny Response CL, which is a mad pick, but that's a shoe for me.
Bad Bunny gets the shout above the Travis Scott, above the.
I'll tell you what, though,
the
I don't wear my Travs that much. I love them, and I do wear them, but they don't get much wear, mainly because they get more wear now than they did when they released. Because when they released, everybody was wearing them, and I'm there like, I'm going to hold off a bit until people aren't. Bad Bunny Response CL is one of the comfiest shoes. It's one of the maddest shoes, and there's a pretty cool story around getting that pair as well. But in general, yeah, there's no like one pair that specifically I'm like, I need that. I mean, yeah, it's a tricky one because there's so many pairs here with different meanings and different like memories around them that it's hard to just pick one and take that. But if there was one pair that I was like, I need to wear that shoe all day, every day, I'm taking it from the house all day, every day. I mean, it could be the Travs because then I could sell them, make a load of money, and buy some other pairs.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Bad Bunny was that shoe went a bit mad for me when I got it.
That's a very interesting shot.
But I accidentally got it early. And my Instagram has never been more hectic when I put up a video of that. You
were lit. Your
honestly,
Instagram was lit.
Yeah, I complex Complex took my video and reposted it. I had Joe LaPuma in my DMs. I had Brendan
Are you
Dunn,
serious?
Sean Witherspoon. I had everybody in my DMs going like, how'd you get that pair of shoes? Where'd you get them from?
So, bro, how did you get this shoe early, bro?
They appeared on a website in the UK. I won't name retailer, and I bought them. And they sent me an email saying, apologies, we shouldn't really have these, but we sent them to you anyway. And I got them. They took them down immediately. Like I managed to get the order in. They took them down immediately. And honestly, it's a mental shoe, and it's one of my favorite shoes I've got.
That's a real cool story.
Honestly,
bro.
like I put a video up. It was.
Did you say you're not naming the name of the retailer?
I won't name those just in case get them in trouble. But they literally like it was mad because literally I put a terrible video up that I filmed like in my bathroom because I was in a tiny house and I didn't have any like backdrops, so I just kind of used the tiled floor in my bathroom because it looked all right. And yeah, Complex reshared it. They were like, "This guy's got this early pair of Bad Bunnies. Look at this!" Like, and I was there like, "What is going on?" Like my DMs were full of Spanish people. I had no clue what they were saying. I was just having to respond with them with like fire emojis and hearts because I was like, I can't translate all of this. There was loads of them. Just absolute madness. And it was. I probably got them a good 6-7 months early. Like it wasn't like a couple of weeks. It was a big time period early.
Are you serious?
And it just went mad. Like I honestly didn't know what was going on.
So you're telling me Brendan Dunn and Joe LaPuma are hollering at you saying, "Bro, where did you get them?
Yeah, where'd you get them from? Yeah.
Legitimately, Joe LaPuma's hollering at you, bro.
Yeah. Still got the DMs are still there somewhere back. Yeah, I mean, this was amazing. This was like last year, early last year. But it was mad. It was, yeah. I just didn't realise. I didn't realise they'd released early or anything like that. I just saw them and was like, "That's a weird looking shoe. I'm going to buy it." And yeah, obviously wasn't meant to get them, but yeah, it was. That was like my Instagram has never had that level of interaction ever since. Mainly because I'm terrible at Instagram, but. Yeah, that post was just absolutely mad. And it was really cool because I would wear that pair of shoes and people would be like, "What?" And I'd have DMs all the time being like, "How'd you get them? Where'd you get them from? When are they releasing all this?" So
Actually, cool. I didn't even know Bad Bunny had it like that, bro.
I didn't at the time. I know he had the forum out. And
yeah, that normally does really well. That usually sells out, right?
Yeah, I finally managed to get one on the last one he did on the white pair. Finally managed to hit on a pair. But yeah, yeah, it was mad. We didn't expect it. I just thought, yeah, it's a cool looking shoe.
I think they said that Bad Bunny is like he's like the biggest artist in the world.
Yeah,
like the most streamed artist.
Number one streamed artist in the world. Yeah.
Wow! Shout out to Bad Bunny and WWE Connection. He just had an amazing match with Damian Priest.
Yeah, Puerto Rico.
In Puerto Rico, did his thing.
In the build up to that, he jumped on the table, and I immediately sent DMs to everyone, being like, "Have you seen the responses he's got on his feet? I need them. How can I get them?" And I did have some people respond back to me, being like, "You should wait to see what the rest of the stuff he's releasing is." And I was there like, "Oh, yeah." That honestly, Response CL, underrated silhouette, and his stuff is
very underrated. It's
good.
Very underrated.
Yeah, it's good stuff. He's doing well. It's good stuff.
I respect it. That's a very cool story, bro. We love that.
Yeah.
We love that. All right, let's just talk a little bit about Doubled Up Run, because obviously we had Matt on the podcast previously, friend of the show, obviously, and and sort of he gave us a little bit of a rundown from his perspective of how it started and stuff. But do you want to just like give us your perspective on some of the parts of it, like, because by all accounts, you guys pretty much just became friends, connected over a particular shoe, and then decided to start a podcast a few months later, right? So, like, if that's not a case of shoe friends becoming real friends, I don't know what is.
I mean,
hi there. So nice to see you. Sorry to interrupt the pod. I'll be literally 30 seconds. I just wanted to say thank you for being here. And also, if you enjoy the pod, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. It really does help. Also, if you're listening on an audio platform, feel free to give us a review, whether it be positive or negative. Just leave a review. We really, really appreciate it. Also, feel free to listen to our old episodes. And if you ever want to get in contact, if you want to let me know what you're thinking, feeling, or whatever, holler at me. My name is PROZECH. PROZECH on all social media. Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, Ninja TikTok at the moment. So feel free to holler at me. I will always holler back. And with all that being said, I'll let you get back to the pod. Toodles. What is?
I mean, yeah, I mean, to put it bluntly, a random guy messaged me on Instagram and said, "Do you want to start a podcast?" And for some reason, I said yes. That's basically it. Like,
I love it.
It was,
I love it.
yeah, it was. I was kind of getting into Adidas again, mainly through Offspring. Offspring had held some really good kind of Adidas events pre-pandemic with their collaborations, and it really kind of hooked me back onto Adidas and buying stuff again. And clearly Matt was in that same phase as well, big into his Adidas, and yeah, we kind of just ended up following each other because of, as you do, like someone follows you, you look at their page, oh, he's posting some cool stuff, I'll follow him back. And we started talking about that, and you know, when Matt starts talking, as you may know from when he was on, you kind of can't stop him sometimes, and that's coming from me, which is bad enough. And yeah, we just kept talking, and then eventually he was like, you know what, I feel like I'm going to start a podcast. And he just messaged me being like, do you want to try it? Didn't have a clue who he was. Like, didn't know. I mean, yeah, I knew. At the time, he was SW Sneakers. So, like, I don't know what his name is. He didn't have a clue what my name was because I was teaching at the time and kind of keeping everything pretty kind of hidden because, you know.
Is that where the name Sneaker Teacher comes from?
Yeah, so when I set up, I had, I think Matt probably, I mean, he said similar. Like, I had an account with my friends. I was posting pictures of shoes. Even though they were getting the most amount of likes, it was also the stuff that I was getting the piss taken out of me for the most. So I was like,
wow,
right, I'll set up another account. And yeah, kind of went, hey, I'm teaching. I'm a sneaker teacher. Weirdly, there's one other sneaker teacher in the UK as well, who basically set up the exact same profile. He is just, I think he's sneaker teacher underscore or something like that. So he's basically the opposite to me, and we get confused quite a lot. Not so much anymore, thankfully. I think people have figured out who's who. But yeah, so I set up that account. He didn't know who I was. I didn't know who he was. We jumped on a Zoom and we were like, what do we do? Like, do we take this seriously? Do we not? Like, what are we doing? And it was just a bit of a laugh. Like, it was just, we're in the pandemic. Every week we're going to jump on. We're going to talk about shoes and we'll see what happens. And that's what happened. We then decided, like, shall we just reach out to some people? Like, we just wanted to have a bit like what you do now. It's just getting people on and just chatting about something that we like and we love doing. And it was just chatting with friends about shoes. That's all it was. And people were listening, which even now is like mad to me that people listen. You know, hearing my voice, my dulcet tones on the internet every week is weird to me. And even now, like we get more and more listeners all the time, and some of the guests we've had on, you know, we've had Jacques Slade on, who's, you know,
that's
a
amazing.
legend of the game. You know, we've had amazing people. I mentioned Lorenzo earlier, like huge, dizygotic, amazing brand. FD from the future, who, you know, he's absolutely killing it at the moment everywhere.
Yeah, he's doing this thing, man.
You know, Mark, Sneakers and Recreation, who Matt now does a podcast with, which weirdly was, you know, he was a guest on our podcast and they kept talking because they love basketball and that's happened.
Hoops and Rec, yeah, right.
It's weird, you know, these guests we've had on just because we want to talk to shoes about them, and they've all become friends, like proper, like genuine friends that we meet up with, we talk to. You know, I got married in the summer and, you know, people came to my wedding that I invited from that.
That's amazing.
You know, it is weird, and it is a strange one because it was just, we were just doing it and we were just having a bit of a laugh and it just spiraled. People just seemed to like what we were doing. And it was funny because people always message and be like, you know, you two, you know, you've clearly known each other a long time and, you know, all this. Nah, not in the slightest. Like, it's literally just
it's the chemistry, though, right, man? That's one thing I was going to ask you, man. I was like, when did it click for you that, no, we can really do this? Because, like, listening to your podcast, it does give that impression without a shadow of a doubt. And obviously, if you're listening to more recent episodes, it's obviously going to give that impression. But even if you listen to the early episodes, there's no clunkiness. There's no feeling out process. Like, it feels like you know each other. And I suppose you were talking prior, whether it be text or through IG or whatever, but, like, you guys were just there straight away, like, and that's gotta feel special, right?
Yeah, it did just work. It just clicks. Like we like the same things, and I mean, don't get me wrong. There have been some big fallings out about stuff. Sometimes recorded on the podcast. Like, I mean, if anyone wants to go back and listen to the Yu-Gi-Oh episode, I mean, Jesus Christ, that was.
I'll be doing that.
That's had a bit, and I edit the episode, so like. There are times when I have made Matt look like an idiot on the podcast by some of the stuff he said and some of the sound effects and stuff I put in. But there's times when I made myself look like an idiot as well. I mean, Peace Manusan is haunting me currently, right? It is haunting me. It is everywhere.
Bro, let me tell you, Peace Manusan, that short, on my TikTok, nearly 20,000 people. They love it.
Honestly.
Can you give me your top 3
it?
2023 so far?
I'm sticking with it because I said it this week on the podcast, and that is the piece -1 times Nike Quando 1, the recent white and black. I don't know what it is about that shoe, the one that looks like a bowling shoe, but I love it.
Are you sure that's not pronounced Peace Minnesota? I can keep this in the podcast, but I don't want you to look silly.
No,
is the problem.
No.
So I don't know whether you want to pronounce that. Do you want to say that properly?
Yeah, sorry, it's the Peace Manusan. The Peace Manusan times Nike Quando 1. Yeah.
The Peace Manusan. Shout out to Scott. He played himself on the podcast.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
Normally, I'm the one that makes a fool of myself. So the fact that he did, that will be forever our greatest episode.
We love that.
Honestly, it is mad. I know. It's honestly, but again, I could have taken it out and gone, nah. But
that's banter. That's amazing. I loved it.
I'm not here for taking stuff seriously, like in general. And when people take stuff seriously about shoes, etc., I just can't be behind it, and I don't mind making a tit out myself. And kind of, if it's entertaining, it's entertaining, and it is.
Respectfully, that was fantastic.
We have a good laugh.
That was very, very good. Yeah, no, I loved it. When I heard it, and I was like, "That's hilarious!" Like, honestly. Don't get me wrong, yeah. The reason why it's hilarious is because we've all done it.
Yeah.
Bro.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody knew how to say that word before 100%. They heard how it was meant to be said. And then all of a sudden, everyone's a snob that knows how to say it, right? Everyone knows how to say it all of a sudden. No one knew how to say it. Bro, I remember I was watching, during the pandemic, I remember G-Dragon dropped like the Air Force ones, the ones that like cracked away. Yeah, like that one. Like, I think it had like a daisy or something.
Yeah, the Air Force ones. Yeah, with the kind of paint crack. Yeah,
right. And I remember I was watching Soul Supplier, and they were saying it wrong, and I was like, "What? Peace Manusan. And then I remember somebody. I don't know whether it was somebody during that program or in the comments was like, "It's Peace -1."
Oh yeah, like
and the guy was like.
I think,
and he sounded it. He looked at the words and he sounded it out. He's like, "Oh, jeez."
The thing is, I used to teach reception, right? I used to teach reception kids, and you get into a habit.
Everyone wants their money back.
There is a whole year group of kids that is coming up that cannot read, write, spell anything, or they are, but it sounds incredibly French and fancy. One of them, but you read it and you read it phonetically, and I was just. What's worse about it is the fact we've spoken about G-Dragon shoes a number of times on the podcast, and
so many times.
Yeah, and I've never. Yeah, and for some reason at that point, my brain just went. And you could see the drawl probably hanging out the side of my mouth when I was doing it, like what, and it just comes out. But there's been numerous times when stuff like that. I mean, Matt, the king of the U-turn, he's honestly.
I wanted to talk to you about this, Scott. Yeah, because obviously I listened to the show, bro. And literally, I'm listening to this show, and he says so many amazing things about like coming on the podcast and like bigging up Kicks Chronicles and stuff. And I'm like, oh, that's really nice to hear, man. Especially on somebody else's podcast, right? And then all of a sudden I'm hearing, but I shouldn't have said this, and I shouldn't have said that. And I chose this one, and PROZECH's gonna think I'm a flip flopper man, but I shouldn't have chose that.
And he's a flip flopper. He's a massive flip flopper. Like he will openly admit it. Like he's all or nothing, and his shoes are the same. Like his shoe taste, he will go all in with a brand, and then he'll come out and he'll go to another one and all that. And you know, he is unwavering in that, and it's great because you know it's fun, entertaining for me at least. I can take the mic, but
that's hilarious.
We're kind of different in the same. In the same, like we like similar things. I'm very much. I've got all my shoes. I've got all my like brands there, and I always have a little bit of something. Whereas Matt, he will literally sell like all of his Adidas to go and buy loads of Nikes, and then he'll sell all of his Nikes at some point to go and buy New Balance, and then he'll do.
That's a real journey.
He's very in and out and stuff like that. But I mean, yeah, he's incredibly knowledgeable about the stuff that he does, and from a creative point of view, like the podcast and the way it is basically just Matt's mind constantly ticking over with different ideas. Like he'll throw stuff at me, and I'm there like, let's see if it works. Because if it does, great. If it doesn't, it ends up being funny anyway. Like,
this is it, bro. I think that's amazing.
It will happen, and I think with like we talk about shoes, and sometimes we get told off by listeners because we haven't spoken enough about shoes. All right, there was one episode where we went about 15 minutes where we were talking about Matt fishing. Right, it happens. But
I listened to the episode, and thank God I did, because I had a journey of slightly longer than your podcast, and I was like, bro, I now know that Matt likes his fishing. He's out here, he's doing his thing, man. He's talking about different types of flies and stuff, and I'm like, bro, these guys are out
here. We all like stuff other than shoes. Like we all love shoes. Don't get me wrong, but. You know, if there's other people, we've all created bonds with other people in the community, whether people like using that word or not, because of other things as well. You know, it might be wrestling, for example. Like I've got a lot of people that are big into their wrestling. They've kind of come out the closet with it now, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I'd like it." And I talk to them about it all the time. Football, loads of people love football. Talk to them about it. Matt, basketball. You know, he's got Julia, he's got Mark, he's got Wardy, he's got all these people, and it is amazing. I think the podcast itself and just having people on and talking to them, you just meet loads of cool people. There's so many amazing people out there doing so many amazing things, and it's really cool to see that. And that's all it was. It was just about talking to people, and just kind of enjoying it. That's all it was about. It was never about making money or getting free shoes or doing anything like that. It was, can we keep our sanity during lockdown? And the fact that people were listening, we were kind of like, we should probably keep going with this. Like it feels like some people are liking it. Like there's clearly people that are enjoying this. So we just kept going, and you know, if things happen from it, amazing. Like if they don't, it doesn't matter. Like we're having fun with it. We're enjoying it. That's the point of doing anything. Like you know.
Yeah. No, man, I really appreciate that, man. Because like as a sort of a younger podcaster in the game, not in age, but obviously just in terms of how long I've been doing it, man. I appreciate your journey and your insights as well, man, because yeah, the energy and the effort you put in is obvious. It's evident. It's evident. And when you're like, I remember like sort of when I came in to start doing podcasting, I remember I was like, this is the kind of sort of vibe, it's the kind of sort of language, this is the kind of feel that I want people to have on the podcast. I don't want it to feel too informative. I want it to feel cool. I just want it to feel light. I want it to feel romantic and nostalgic. I want it to be a fun, cool
Is that why you asked me to put the mood lighting on beforehand? Yeah. Is that what it was? I can change it. I can put it to red and like nice and romantic, a bit more. I can put the music on, get the Barry White in the background if you want. It's
100%. Wherever you want to go, I'm going with you, Baji. Don't worry about that, man. But yeah, I just wanted it. So it's like, but the cool thing is like where I am and what I do. When I look at podcasts like yourself, and I look at other podcasts like Stockroom Podcast, and I look at other podcasts that are out here, right? I'm like, everyone's got a real cool lane that they're in, and there's a lot of cool collaboration, and there's a lot of like people working together, and there's a lot of people bigging each other up, and there's so much space and opportunity out there, man. And when you've got guys like yourself that have gone a bit further ahead and you're doing great things, it's great. It's great in terms of aspiration, just to look at and see like, oh, there's a decent blueprint knocking about. I'm gonna try and emulate that and try and do some of the things that they do. So I really look at you guys in that way. Like I listen to your podcast and I'm like, nah, this is a legit podcast. Like, I listen to football podcasts, I listen to wrestling podcasts, I listen to like proper other podcasts about different subjects or whatever, and yours fits in there seamlessly. And I'm like, yeah, that's really, really cool. There's no drop off in quality, and I really, really like aim to be on that level sort of thing. So, man, well done.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I think it's. It's nice to hear stuff like this, and as I said, it's mad to think that people are listening and kind of seeing us as like people that have done this for a while now. But when we started it, one of the reasons we started it was because we wanted to listen to stuff, but there wasn't anything about. There's been some really good ones previously, but they've dropped off, they've disappeared, and we're never quite sure why. Because, like, personally, we thought they were really good, but there's for some reason, for whatever reason, these people, companies, organizations, whatever, start a podcast and then stop it. Whether it is because it's not getting the viewership that they thought it was going to get, it's not getting the kind of the responses and the interactions and stuff that they want as a business, whatever. But yeah, we didn't want that. And I mean, it's hard to be different and authentic I say authentic, but original is probably a better word in terms of this, because you've got like the likes of Complex Sneakers, you've got the likes of other podcasts that are doing a lot and doing like news segments, and they're doing cop, drop, rock, whatever, flip, skip, drip, whatever it might be, whatever spin people want to put on it.
We've all got spins on
everyone does it, and I think we put our own kind of spin on it to a degree. But I think the one thing we found more than anything is, especially when brands kind of they start working with companies and they start doing stuff, is obviously people start being a bit careful about what they're saying about certain products and about certain brands and taking the mick and all this type of stuff. And we've always said, like, it might be one of the reasons we don't really work with any brand in particular, even though we've had a couple of kind of conversations down the road at times, but we are unapologetic and we will say what we think about stuff. And if it's a bad shoe, we will tell you it's a bad shoe. If it's a good shoe, we'll, praise it to the hills. But I think, we're here to just have a laugh and enjoy it and enjoy shoes. And, if at any point we stop enjoying it, or, there's something that happens that makes us enjoy it less, we will change it to make sure that we do. We used to have guests on all the time, and we loved having guests on. And I really want to get some more guests back on. But when we started, it was during lockdown and nobody had anything to do. So we could message someone and be like, yeah, can you, do you want to hop on next week? Yeah, sorted. And it was great. It was nice and easy. And now it's like life is coming. And, we've had a lot of guests on. We've done 126 episodes at this point of recording. And we've had lots of guests on, lots of amazing people. And we have regular guests that we do keep coming back on because they want to come back on and talk, which is cool. But yeah, there are lots of people that it's hard to get hold of some people. We've had guests in the pipelines for like, some of them like almost a year at this point. But there's always something that happens. I injure my knee, Matt snaps his leg in half, something along those lines that ends up us not being able to do it. But it's good, and I enjoy just listening to other people's conversations and listening to other people's thoughts and opinions on things. And, it's cool that people are, looking at us and going, let's see what they're saying today, like, and keeping it relatively entertaining. And if we're not talking about shoes all the time, I mean, you might get this as well. I always get asked by people that don't really know about shoes. It's like, how do you talk about trainers for an hour, if not more, every single week? And I'm there like, well, we don't just talk about that. I mean, majority of the time it is, but we, like I say, we go on rants about all types of things. I mean, Matt's trying to educate me on basketball at the moment, and that's not going very well. So it is what it is. But yeah, as long as you're enjoying it, and it's nice to hear that people are enjoy listening to it as well.
No, without a doubt, man. Without a doubt. Like, I told my wife recently, I was like, obviously when I had Matt on, and I said I was gonna have you, because sometimes she'll be in the car with me when I'm driving, because I hate driving, especially long distances when I'm even slightly tired.
Are you the passenger princess?
No, that's my missus, man. I drive like 95% of the time. You know who you are, bro. Like, I do that. So don't even. Anyway, I drive like 95% of the time. But like, I hate driving like anything longer than an hour. I swear down, like, it just drives me. And I'll start nodding off, and I'll have to open the window. I'll have to turn on the AC, or I have to put on something that's going to keep me entertained or whatever. And yeah, she's heard you guys, and she's heard other podcasts as well that like are out there as well. And it's like, oh man, it's nice, man. Even, and I told her, oh, these guys are coming on, and she's like, oh, those are the guys that mentioned you on their thing. I was like, yeah, man. You get me? So I know you were listening when you heard that. You get me, man? It's just nice to hear, man. But first of all, thank you, because like we've gone a little long, right? We're gonna start getting to the end now, right? Before I ask you sort of a really weird question, I'm gonna ask you 2023 halfway through, top 3 kicks of the year.
Top 3.
Top 3.
See, this is one that we've kind of discussed in group chats and stuff, and it's a bit controversial, to be honest, like in terms of it, because I was very surprised when I kind of put this together. Annoyingly, they're not pairs that I'll probably own because of price, but for me, as a big Adidas, especially as a ZX lover, Adidas ZX Gucci, right? That's a shoe of the year. That is a absolutely top tier shoe. That's honestly,
well, the Gucci collab was a good collab, but it's just the price point. Was
the price point was insane, and we've discussed this like with the Dior Jordan 1. Can you include it when the price is so high that it's almost unobtainable for people? So
but it's a really good shoe, though.
ZX Aqua,
it is a really
the
good
OG
shoe.
Aqua colorway with the Gucci print and everything it's amazing. It's just brilliant.
It's classics, man. That's fantastic.
Yeah,
what they did with the monogram. The print, like how they incorporated it, not only in the ZX but also in the Gazelle.
Yeah,
what they did with that, like when I saw that, because I'm a Gazelle guy. When I saw that Gazelle, I said that is naughty. What you guys are doing is fantastic. So yeah, I'm with you on the Gucci collab. The ZX,
yeah,
that's a classic colorway. It's one of the best ones. It's one of the old school ones. We love that colorway.
Yeah,
so yeah, they really did well with that collab.
Yeah,
they really did well.
That's
that
the one for me. The Clarks times Adidas Samba. That is again the Ronnie Feig again.
Ronnie Feig, yeah.
I genuinely putting 2 Adidas in a top 3. If you'd have asked me this like last year before, thought amazing.
Maybe they're making a comeback.
They're the best brand this year. They're the best brand this year.
Strong words. Do you know what? Yeah, I respect it, man, because like, although they've had bad PR, they have been quietly knocking things out.
They've had no worse PR than what Nike did last year, though.
Fair enough.
I mean, we're talking about Kanye and Yeezy. I mean, you've had Tom Sachs as well for Nike.
Yeah.
You know, the thing is with Adidas...
But, bro, that's not got as much... I don't think... Obviously, Tom Sachs is Tom Sachs. Obviously, bro. Like, I mean, I think you could from a media standpoint, you could justify it by saying Kanye is a bigger star. But my earlier point, people have done things way worse than what he said.
Yeah,
it's interesting, right?
Yeah.
It's interesting when you think about it. But yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Like, I think because Nike are the behemoth that will never be overturned. It's probably never ever going to happen.
Yeah.
They hold so much of the market.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's about 70-75% at this point, if you include Jordan brand as well. I think what they're able to do in terms of controlling the narrative is obviously going to be a lot more than what Adidas is able to do.
Yeah.
So, and it's in a lot more people's interest in terms of the media to quickly manage that story out of this news cycle than it is for an Adidas, especially when it includes somebody as big as Kanye West. But I do agree with you. They've been quietly knocking things out, quietly working things, and they've had negative PR, but they've been doing good work.
I mean,
they have actually been doing good work.
The shoes they're bringing out again. You know, they're having the moment again with the Samba and Gazelles and kind of that terrace shoe scene. You've got Wales Bonner collab coming out soon. You've got the Sporty and Rich. You've got obviously the Ronnie Five Clarks collab. Like, they're absolutely the Gucci, like, they're smashing it, absolutely smashing it. Like, the stuff they're producing at the moment is top tier. You've got Bad Bunny stuff that's selling out left, right, and centre. Like, they are doing bits at the moment. It's top tier. But yeah, I mean, those two are the two that are like, for me, yeah, I'd have all over those if I could. And then the third one, up until recently, it was the Big Bubble. That was up there.
Knocked out the top 3.
Yeah. Yeah, by these bad boys. Honestly,
Again with the sucking these.
honestly, I'm telling you, I'm so surprised with these. Really,
People, tell me, bring them up again. Let's do this, right? People, let us know in the comments, right? Or yeah, let me get them on screen. Actually, let me. So it looks a bit rough, right? Let people know in the comments, right? Big Bubble versus the Saucony.
be brave.
J-Tip,
Be
yeah.
brave. Come on. You know.
Let us know what you're saying.
I love both. I do love both, and like I say, that Big Bubble
It's a cool shoe.
is
It's a very
for me.
cool shoe.
The anniversary red is one of the, if not the best Air Max ever made, and to have that Big Bubble, it looks a bit weird at first with the kind of the bit at the back, but in general, yes, it's top. I think. Like, even if I'm talking about brands of the year so far, like I could tier them as literally like Adidas, Nike / Jordan, and then New Balance. Like, I think New Balance had a really quiet year so far. They've been ticking away nicely. They've got some nice Teddy Santis stuff. They've had some nice collabs.
I think they had an amazing year last year.
They've been one of the top brands, if not the top brand, for the past couple of years, comfortably.
Yeah,
but this year
they've been aggressively.
Yeah,
no, you're right.
been
You're
quiet this
actually
year.
right, man. They've not been.
They've not been bad, but they haven't been,
no,
as you say,
no.
aggressive. They haven't been as kind of.
Yeah, I think the last few years they have been aggressively taking market share. Like I had, I referred to it earlier. I had George on the podcast, and Soul Supplier did a really cool thing. They basically did some market research and they looked at the whole market. I think it was called Soul Trends or something like that. I can't remember what it was called, but it was a whole document where they sort of outlined the trends within the market, and what was interesting year on year was I think Nike and Adidas, like I referred to earlier, had about 75%. Previously, Adidas had about 12%, and New Balance had about sort of 3 or 4%. That's completely flipped, right? But what was interesting is, right, Adidas has come down, right? But Jordan brands also come down as well.
Yeah.
And New Balance has come up. So I think maybe the story in that was that the quality that people are seeing as issues, or you know, it's not even the quality, it might be a contributing factor, but the oversaturation of Jordans in the market may have caused people to be sort of a little put off by it, causing there to be a reduction in the amount of people purchasing those shoes. Also, their price point continually grew.
Yeah.
Adidas obviously had its issues, and coming out of Yeezy seemed to not have many ideas as to what to do as a brand. And then obviously New Balance with the 550, the 97, the 937, and so many other sort of iconic silhouettes were just aggressively growing and growing and growing. Teddy Santis involved, Joe Freshgoods, Salehi Bembury, like really, really cool collabs and really, really sort of like hot, like good stuff, like great quality and like a very good narrative as well. So yeah, like they're just doing good stuff, man. But yeah, I think you're right, man. This year they haven't really sort of. I think the only thing that I think I saw from them this year that I really thought was pretty amazing was that Grey Day thing.
Yeah, the Grey Day pack's really nice, really, really nice.
Like I'm not sure if it's come out already, but like. Bro, like I didn't realize how much I love grey, blue, and red. And do you see it in like 12 different ways?
Yeah,
you're like, bro, that one looks good, and that one looks good, and that one looks good as well. Like a lot of them look really, really good.
Yeah,
so,
my
they're
mate,
definitely doing their thing.
My mate, he's into his clothes and his shoes, but not quite. Like he's dipping his toe in the water. He's getting there a bit. But he rocked up the other day to a barbecue, and he was wearing the Grey Day 550s. And they just look so good. Like the second he walked in, I clocked him, and I was there like, "Yeah, you've made a good choice there. Like that's just a solid shoe. It looks just really nice." But yeah, no, it's this year Adidas they've done the New Balance this year. They've been aggressively going out there, and they've been putting good stuff out at a good price as well. Like general Adidas shoes are knocking around £100, £100 mark.
Yeah.
You're not getting your 170s of Jordans and stuff. And I think Jordan's been weak this year, really.
Oh, super weak.
Nothing.
Bro, you don't hear, like, and I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, you don't hear about people having issues with quality from Adidas as well. Like, I've never had an issue in terms of quality. That's all Nike, bro. It's all Nike.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's definitely
Like Nike,
some good things coming out
yeah,
of Adidas.
Nike have been putting good stuff out this year in terms of like their Air Max and stuff like that, and 95s ones. There's even been some really good GR 90s that have appeared, but Jordan has been pretty weak. Yeah, I think as a whole, like I say, top shoes of the year. There's a Big Bubble would definitely be up there for me. Like, that's a great shoe, but otherwise, it is a bit of a struggle. I haven't bought that much this year. Like, I've gone back and bought older Saucony, some older Adidas, Big Bubbles. Yeah, I got. But other than that, it's been, I haven't really been interested much so far this year.
And I understand, because I think even for myself, like in terms of shoes that are here that I've actually caught this year, it's literally the Big Bubble and the Pirate Blacks. I think everything I already had.
Yeah.
In terms of shoes that are,
I don't think people are buying as much this year. I must admit, I don't. Yeah. I think whether it's cost of living and people being a bit more selective, or it's just that actually there's just not as much products kind of being out there. I know a lot of people that are really normally Nike, Jordan only, mainly Jordan, are like, people are buying Sambas because they're like, well, I'm not buying anything. They're £90 and I can normally get them with like a student discount or something. It's not really, I don't really have to think about it that much. So I think, Nike, I mean, we're coming into the autumn/fall, like after summer, and that's normally when it really ramps up with other stuff. So we'll see what happens. There's still time, but at the moment, Adidas brand of the year for me at the moment. Like I say, top 3, got 2 Adidas pairs up there, which I genuinely would never have thought. I'd have thought I would have gone mad if I'd have said that a couple of years ago.
No, I respect it. I think that's a fair estimation. I think also, like, you could throw in the fact that me as a Yeezy fan, and maybe not every single Yeezy is my cup of tea, but just that brand itself and what it represented and stuff, like the way they have delivered the Yeezys, because in years past, the Yeezy day was a tough day, even though for myself, I usually would do pretty well. And this year I managed to do pretty well again. There was a lot of like scratching this and go to this post and go to the bottom of this one and a little bit of this and a little bit of that.
Yeah.
This year, like, none of that. Like, this dropped and then this dropped and then this dropped, and then you went in for it, and a lot of people got the shoes that they wanted, man. And it was like, well, that's cool.
Yeah. I mean,
that's like, if this is it for certain pairs, then I'm cool for that. Like, I'm good.
I mean, there's some pairs like the Cortez, like 95s and stuff, that have been there, and people have gone mad for them, and that's a good shoe. I think all 3 of them are decent. But I mean, like, one of my other shoes of the year, which I mean shows how varied the market is at the moment, and you could argue it shows how weak Jordan and Nike have generally been, but it also shows how good it is to be a sneakerhead at the moment, like in terms of what is available. The Puma Rugi B-Ball.
Bro. Oh, I love that shoe, bro. I love that shoe.
I'm hunting.
I should have bought the only one.
I should have bought it at the time.
Bro, I'm telling you,
I didn't.
I should have bought that shoe. I said it to my wife. I said, "Oh my days, babe, I flopped that shoe when I saw it." Because, bro, I'm a classic. I'm a suede guy, bro. I'm a suede guy, bro. Like, I was working suedes, like 2008, 2010 coming out. Like, I'm saying, like, in my early, like, working days, like, I draw for the suede, bro. Like, I had about 2 or 3 pairs of suedes, and I was like, when I saw that pink, and it's not like a hot pink, it's such a subtle pastel-y pink. Beautiful pink with the sail. And then I'm saying with the shell laces, and I'm like, bro, this is bro. And I just with like, I was just the fits in my mind,
honestly.
Bro. I was like with the blue jeans, bro, with that little pop of pink, bro. I'm that guy, bro. I will get those shoes.
Oh yeah, no, they will be in my collection at some point. There's no question.
They're on my goat right now.
There's no question.
I threw out a speculative offer and it was rejected, and I was like, cool. I'm saying I just want to give it a bit more time. I'm hoping it goes down.
Yeah,
people don't realize how good that shoe is.
It's an annoying one because I could have bought it. I should have bought it. I had a lot of people telling me, like, you should buy this shoe, and people picking it up. and being like, this is amazing, like one of my favourite shoes that I picked up this year. And I didn't, because at the time I was like, I'm not buying pairs. I don't have the money to be able to buy them at the moment. Other things have come up. And annoyingly, now I'm looking back and I'm like, oh man. But again, that's one of my shoes of the year. I love that shoe.
No, that definitely is in there for me, without a shadow of a doubt. It's such a beautiful shoe. Beautiful shoe.
Puma, we're putting a Puma in shoe of the year contender.
Oh, no.
Like what?
No, it's out there. It's out there.
Mad.
Bro, it's not got the fanfare. It's not got the bells and the whistles of a lot of these other. It is a cool collaboration, because obviously Rugi, like with Rude, what he's done with his clothing brand has been really, really cool. Although I heard recently that he, like, I think he was like creative director at a brand and they've parted ways or something. Like, I can't remember who it was, but like I'll see if I can figure out who that was and maybe slip in a graphic or something. But like, for him and what he did with Puma, that collaboration was spicy beyond belief, bro. Like, I loved it. I really, really liked it. And yeah, it was just so simple, so elegant, so cool. Did you catch the Reebok Classic End collab that recently dropped? Did you see that?
A nice pair.
Oh my days, that was so nice.
It's a good pair.
I tried to get it. I didn't get the drop, man.
And generally do not miss with their collaborations with any brand.
Bro,
I mean,
like,
they
days.
absolutely smash it. We've just had the Adidas Consortium Cup, and End and Offspring absolutely smashed it. And I am putting money to one side because I know there will be shoes, and there's a lot of shoes that will be coming out at that point that I will want to buy. End in particular, their collaborations, ZX, kind of the Sambas, etc., amazing. And yeah, Offspring as well. But yeah, there's some really nice, if you're into that type of shoe. I mean, I was looking on End earlier, and you've got the Adidas Bodega Beams Campus. Like, that's a beautiful looking shoe as well. Like,
I'll definitely be having a look at their, they've got a massive sale on at the moment. By the way, if you're watching this, there's a link. There's an affiliate link underneath in the description below. Just click that and go spend some money at End.
Oh, don't.
There's loads of links in there, but go to End. End's good. We know what
an End sale. Can't beat an End sale.
Bro, my first pair of Yeezys I got through End, right? And they put a discount code on it automatically.
You know what? I did. One of the first pairs I got, it was a reflective pair as well. And I remember being like, I wonder if a code works. And I remember putting it in and being like, wow.
Top tier. End are so good. They're elite, bro. I love End. I absolutely love it. And man, End, holler at me, bro. I need more than an affiliate link. Alright, G. Let's wing our way, man, because yeah, you've got a wife and family and all that jazz, right? And we could talk for years. Desert Island Kicks. One of my favorite questions, right? You're stuck on a desert island, cast away. Don't know how you got there, but you have 2 pairs of shoes with you. What 2 pairs of shoes do you have with you, and why?
I mean, a pair of Crocs will be there. There's no question about that.
Respectfully.
I mean,
respectfully.
It's bad, and they find this funny at work, because I've got a reputation as being like the trainer guy at work now. Like, I've got a lot of the girls that I say, kind of a lot of the women that kind of work in there, they've got like young teenage kids, and they're getting their kids to now send me messages on how to get them shoes. They all want Panda Dunks. That's all they want. They all want Panda Dunks. Oh, but it's one of them where I take my, I'll get in the office and I'll end up taking my shoes off, and I'll just sit at my desk, like, and they'll be like, you always have your shoes off. I've got so many pairs of shoes, but if I could walk around barefoot, well, I would. I've got a problem. But yeah, a pair of Crocs would be there, 100%. And then, you know what? Another pair of shoes. I mean, you know what? It'd probably be something like, I don't know, a pair of Terex Free Hiker, like Ultra Boost or something like that. Something proper sturdy, comfortable, practical. I'm not.
Makes sense. I mean, you need something.
Or pick a dunk. Pick any form of SB dunk, because they're borderline indestructible. You can do everything in them. I mean, before you might have said like a general purpose shoe. Can you say that? Can you say that these days? But I mean, that's quite an all-purpose shoe that you probably would have probably been quite handy. I mean, it's a desert island. Nobody knows you're wearing them, so you might be all right.
No. And by the way, yeah, right. even with what I said earlier, bro, and I get it. If you're uncomfortable wearing certain shoes because of what a designer did,
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah,
Right.
100%.
But just a word of caution, right? If you start digging into all these designers and what they've done and what's happened, you may leave your house naked, bro. just being real. Just being real.
Especially
like,
if you're into your
you
high-end
can go,
stuff. Ooh,
bro. I'm saying you may leave your house naked, G. So like you may limit your choices in what you can wear significantly if you start digging too deeply. Wear your clothes, wear your shoes. All right, let's get into some quick fires, bro. Let's get into some quick fires. Right. I'm gonna rattle these off. Right. I just want honesty and I want it from your chest. Right. I don't read very fast, so you don't have to worry. Right. But they're gonna come. And I want the energy right now. I want the energy. All right, so let's sum of the energy and let's get into it in 3, 2, 1. Starting off with a bang, as always, Nike or Adidas?
Adidas.
New Balance or Adidas?
Oh, Adidas. I'm still going Adidas.
Can you wear Nike and Adidas together, yes or no?
Oh, get out. Don't honestly, my wife will, I'll comment on it. We'll be walking in the street and I'll be like, pressing. And she's like, what are you on about? And he'll be like, look at him. He's got Nike socks with Adidas shoes. Or normally it's Adidas shoes with Adidas socks with Nike shoes.
That's interesting how, do you know the one that I see a lot? I see the 3 straps going into the swoosh and it's annoying, man.
No,
it's
it messes with me. It messes with me.
Nah, it's irky. I'm saying it's icky. Right. Let's do this. What's your Jordan number?
1.
YouTube, Instagram, or TikTok?
You know what? I'd say I spend more time on Instagram than anything else.
Sneakers, kicks, or Creps?
Trainers.
Respectfully, I'll take that. I'm gonna add that on as well. Spotify or Apple Podcast?
Oh, Spotify.
Favorite collaboration?
Whoa. You know what?
It's a lot.
Yeah, it is. I mean, if I'm going with a favorite collab, like in general, I'm saying Bad Bunny at the moment is killing it. That's a very top, like on trend at the moment that comes to mind. But yeah, Bad Bunny is one
that's cool.
He smashes it at the moment. He's one of the top collaborators going out.
We like that. Vans or Converse?
Vans.
Laces or slip-ons?
Laces.
Are you doing patterns with your laces or are you straight default?
Oh, if I see people tie up their Yeezys with Kors laces, like, nah. It's proper TikTok, Instagram. Look at me. Look at what's on my shoes.
That's a lot, man.
That's effort.
Them laces pages get views, bro.
Nah, people have got way too much time on their hands if they're doing that type of stuff. Nah, not about that.
Jeez, man. Cool. Do you customize your shoes or are you straight factory settings?
Mainly factory settings. Like I don't mess with them too much. I might do a bit of a lace swap every now and then, depending on what the shoe is. But normally just keep it as is.
Retro or innovation?
I think it's retro, innit? If anyone says innovation, I think they're lying. Because as much as we love it, every new shoe that comes out that any brand tries to push, we kill because we don't buy it. We don't buy it.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. I thought you was going to say a lot of them are inspired by old shoes anyway.
Well, they are, yeah. I mean, I love it.
Yeah.
I love looking at new tech and I love like Boost when we had 4D, when we have all these type of things. They are amazing. But I mean, 4D, they hit the outlets. It's dead. It didn't do anything. Ultra Boost hit the outlets. No new shoe at the moment has any remote impact. The last shoe that I can remember was the Element 87. That was the last one, something new that people went mad about. And even now, we look back at that and go, what were we thinking? That was a terrible idea. I mean, all right, I'll pose a question to you. I know we're quickfire, but can you name a new shoe that's come out in the last 5 years that will go down as a historic retro model that we will talk about historically in like 10, 20 years?
The ISPA.
If you say that crocodile looking, then I'm signing off. Don't give me that. Nah, come on.
That's hilarious.
Awful.
No, man. See, you know I listen to this show. Nah, bro. I couldn't give you one. I couldn't give you new.
I mean,
I couldn't give you
you
new.
could argue like Yeezy V2 is a newer.
Is that last 5 years?
It's not last 5 years, but that is a newish model. Like it's a new.
Yeah,
model.
if you're including that, because the thing is, like, obviously there's okay. Then if you're saying that, I could probably say the foam runner. The foam runner might go
Essentially.
down.
That's a good shout. That's a good shout.
Yeah, the foam runner might.
But
go
it's
down,
hard, isn't it?
Yeah,
I mean,
it's very hard.
If you narrow it down to Nike and Jordan, you're even more screwed because there really ain't anything.
Bro.
They rely on retros.
No.
They rely on historic models.
It's heavily based on retros, man. It's heavily.
They've tried, bless them, but they don't work.
Yeah, they try to push the boundaries, and they try to do their Frankenstein and stuff as well, where they just mash shoes together as well. Like, I hate when they do that as well. But it's tough, man.
Innovation is tough because we don't like it in general.
No, I respect that, man. And that's why it's a good question. All right, moving on. Flip flops or sliders?
Slides.
Socks or barefoot?
I'm barefoot most of the time.
Ah, you said it. Comfort or style?
Comfort.
Fresh and clean or beaten and battered?
Clean. Always clean.
Good stuff. Washing machine or hand wash your shoes?
You hand wash. I'm sorry, unless it's like a pair of Converse that you're just chucking in there. Like, please don't do that. Like, somebody the other day was like, "Oh yeah, I've put my shoes in the washing machine," and they pulled them out, and it was like a beautiful suede pair of Adidas. And I was like, "Are you mad? What have you done?
Suede.
What have you done?"
Suede
they were just, but they needed a clean. Oh, yeah. This is where you know though, like, when you know kind of what you're doing and stuff. Like, shout out some of the people that work at like Jason, Mark, Jeffrey, and stuff like that. Like, must hurt their souls to see
That's
it.
terrible.
Like,
especially when they're going to they're actually buying good shoes. And
Well, it wasn't a bad pair of shoes at all. And he's
it's weird, man.
It's even worse when it's a pair of shoes that I had and I've like given to somebody else, and then you see them do that, or like I've kept them pristine, hand them over, and then they immediately within a week look like a different shoe, and you're there like, this.
So I'm coming round. I need to have a quick chat. And I'm bringing a bag.
Yeah, the bag in for the shoes.
Alright. Next one up is lows, mids, or highs.
Lows.
Alright, and the last one in this section: triple blacks or white on whites.
White on whites.
Perfect, man. Thank you.
Triple.
You've done it,
blacks is a. That's across the road job, that.
Yeah, them ones there, bro. When you see them ones, you'll be like, nope.
Yeah, head down, head down.
Come on, down, bro. Come on, down, please.
One the windows up. Lock the doors.
Especially if it's an Air Force One or a 95, bro. Nah.
If it's an Air Force One or a 95, you're already done.
You're done. It's too late. As soon as you see it, it's done, bro.
Your time has come. Sorry. I'll repeat. See you later.
All right, bro. I want to ask you about the word sneakerhead. It's a massive. It's a massive community. It's a term that we use. A lot of people love it. A lot of people makes them feel part of a community. It makes them feel part of something. For others, it's like okay, this is a gatekeeping term. It's something that people over there do, and I don't really feel part of it. What does it mean to you? What does it mean?
You like shoes. Like, it's just that it's you like shoes, you like what you like. I mean, whether you want to label yourself a sneakerhead or not is up to you. But I think, the word community in itself is a loaded word, and again, that's a conversation for another day. Part two will have to come because there's a lot that you can get into and stuff like that. And yeah, it's. To be a sneakerhead or, trainer enthusiast, whatever you want to call yourself, it's just liking shoes. That's all it is. And it's not,
that's it.
To whatever level it is. I mean, if you've got a real passion, a real passion for Skechers, and you've got 100 pairs of Skechers on your wall and you can name every single one of them and you can do that.
Oh, I
You-
respect
you-
it. And I
you're
want you
Insta.
on the show.
Yeah.
And I want you on the show,
Yeah.
bro. If you got a whole wall of Crocs in your yard, bro,
Yeah.
holla at me, bro. I want to speak to you.
This is
I
it.
love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
You're into shoes. It's as simple as that. I mean,
No, I love it. I love it.
my dad, he likes his clothes and he likes his shoes. As he's got older, and he's kind of spending more money on things, and he has a fair few shoes. He doesn't keep them in the boxes, but he knows what he's got. He likes what he's got. There's a good mix there. He's got some of my old Reeboks and Adidas, but he's got some like kind of slightly higher end shoes, Mephisto, like big brands, really good shoes, but kind of like French hiking shoes. There are a lot of other brands, Balmain and kind of Balenciaga and stuff that stole designs from them. But yeah, is he a sneakerhead, so to speak? I think he's on the verge of it. He's got enough pairs and he enjoys it.
Like that.
He enjoys his pairs enough. I think it's when you're wearing shoes because you enjoy them and because you like them and because you're caring for them and looking after them. If you've got, would I say my wife is a sneakerhead? She's got a lot of shoes. They're shoved in a cupboard, just in piles. She's got to dig around to find the left and the right shoe to put them together, etc. Like, would I deem her as a sneakerhead? Probably not, because she buys shoes, but does she really care and love and like about the shoes? There's probably not that passion there. But yeah, I think it's just anybody that really does enjoy them and does, I guess it's one of the easy ways I get to a degree is if you are actively interested in, I've seen this, I want to know more about it. If you just see a shoe and you go, that's nice, and buy it, it's different to knowing, okay, that's a red, black and white Jordan 1. Okay, why are people going so mad about it? Oh, it's a Chicago. Oh, it's because of this. Oh, it's because, and finding a little bit more. You might have 5 pairs of shoes, but if you can tell me everything, every little detail about that pair of shoes and the story behind it and the backdrop and everything, you're a sneakerhead. You like your shoes. You enjoy your shoes. If you enjoy talking about shoes for 2.5 hours like we have with another person, I would define you as some sort of sneakerhead.
I think that's fair.
Tapped in the head. It's one of the two, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, for real. Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
I mean, the next question is, and it's fairly redundant at this point, as you've kind of pointed out, but Scott from the Double Dot podcast, are you a sneakerhead, G?
I'd say so. I get called it by other people, so I feel like if they think I am, I must be at this point. I've been doing it a while.
I think it's fair. I mean, like, without a shadow of a doubt, like, I can fully just enjoyed chatting to you, bro. Like, it's been amazing. It's been a pleasure. It's been an absolute pleasure for me, man. Honestly, like I said earlier, massive fan of the show, and just having you and Matt on, it's a massive coup for me. So I really, really appreciate it. Bro, like, a million people are gonna probably listen to this, watch this. Like, if you combine with the algorithm and stuff, like everything, and put it all together, like, so you're probably gonna want to tell them how they can get in contact with you, like, find what you're doing. Like, please let the people know what's going on.
Yeah, so you can find me on my Instagram at _sneakerteacher. You can find the podcast at Double Dot Podcast. Use hashtag Double Dot Pod to be featured. We're on Spotify, Apple, anywhere you can listen to things. Probably put a shell to your ear on the beach and you might be able to find us in there somewhere. I don't know. But yeah, we're everywhere. Just, reach out if you want to have a chat about shoes and enjoy what we're doing. Yeah, we're friendly enough. It's...
I can attest.
Yeah, and, it's all good. We're just here to have a bit of fun and don't take stuff too seriously. So yeah, hope you enjoy it. But now I think it's our turn to get you on ours. I think you've completed.
Whoa.
If I can get Matt to actually get around to messaging people, he'll listen to this and I'll get on him. But yeah, no, we'll have to.
I'll make sure I leave this bit in.
Yeah, Matt,
we'll have to do some editing.
Matt. Get on it.
Matt, sort this out. Yeah, let's sort this out. No, Matt's a G, man. Yeah. But this is actually this has been amazing. As I said, man, this is literally Like, I look at you guys, I look up to you guys, and I'm like, bro, this is fantastic, man. But people, this has been another episode of Hits Chronicles, your sneaker lifestyle and history podcast. Our amazing guest this week has been Scott from the Double Dot podcast. He's just like given a lot of his time. I might have to do a bit of editing on this one, or maybe I won't. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But like, I've really, really enjoyed the chat, bro. I can't tell you enough. And yeah, I'd love to do it again. Love to do it.
100%.
People, make sure to go check out the Double Dot podcast. That's, if you haven't got anything from this podcast, make sure that's the one thing you take away. Go hit up that Double Dot podcast, man. Boost up them numbers. Go holler at him on Instagram. Just light him up. And I'm saying throw a few to Matt as well. You get me? Keep, you know what I'm saying? Spread the love. And yeah, while you're at it, obviously like, comment, subscribe, review, all of that great stuff. We really, really do appreciate it. You already know where to find us. PROZECH on all platforms and Kids Chronicles on all digital podcasting platforms. So yeah, until I see you guys down the road, thank you very much for joining us and stay blessed.
See ya.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Kicks Chronicles. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share, rate, review, and all that good stuff. And remember, full video version is available on YouTube, audio versions available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.